The Mustang Mach-E GT with the performance pack is a car that you might consider overkill, but it's also one of the best cars that I've reviewed so far on this channel. The power that you get out of it is incredible. The overall handling, performance, there's not much that I don't like about this car. In this video, I want to unpack the 2024 model and help you figure out if the GT Performance Pack is worth the buy, while also pointing out other highlights you'll find across the Mach-E lineup. This Mach-E is in the Eruption Green Metallic, and it also has the Bronze Appearance package, which the combination here looks so good. Pricing for the Mach-E in general in Canada is going to start around $59,700 versus around $49,500 in the States, depending on if you're rear wheel versus all-wheel drive. Are you in the Select, the Premium, the GT? The pricier options being the GT with the Performance Pack, or the new Rally that was introduced for the 2024 model, which is a Mach-E designed for off-road capabilities. The front end of the Mach-E GT is slightly more unique than the rest of the Mach-E lineup. There are some similarities though. So there are LED headlamps you're going to find in the vehicle that have sequential turn lights in the front. There's also going to be that pony that just pops so nicely, and the overall lighting scheme, even though it's subtle, does look pretty good at nighttime. You're going to find a nice glossy black highlight along the lower part of the bumper. Technology-wise, you won't find park assist inside of the 2024 Mustang still, but you will find the forward sensing system along with a front-facing camera. So that's going to give you the option for that full 360 view inside of the ride. One thing that separates the GT and the Rally versions of the Mach-E from the Select and then the Premium versions when you get the 91 kilowatt hour battery is the front motor. The power that you get though in the GT is incredible. So 480 horsepower, 600 pound-feet of torque, but when you get the Rally version and then the GT Performance Edition, keeps it up the same 480 horsepower, but it bumps it up to an impressive 700 pound-feet of torque instead. And that 700 pound-feet is what's going to launch you and just make this feel absolutely incredible. So higher horsepower numbers would lead to a better top speed, but the higher torque is going to get you to that top speed a heck of a lot quicker. So Uncle Ben once said that with great power comes great responsibility. We're going to do the unbridled mode. There is an unbridled extension. That one you technically need to be on a track in order to use. But got to get back up to highway speed here, and we'll go in 3, 2, and 100. Oh, it's so good. Oh, it's so incredibly good. If you don't go for the performance package inside of the vehicle, you still do get 600 pound-feet of torque inside of the GT. Then a little bit less power inside of the Select and the Premium with the 72 kilowatt hour battery, giving you even less on top of that. The warranty for the Mach-E is the exact same regardless of the trim level. The basic is going to be a 3-year, 36,000 miles, 60,000 kilometer. Powertrain gets bumped up to 5 years, 60,000 mile, 100,000 kilometers. And then the hybrid EV components, well, I guess the EV components you find in this ride get bumped up to 8 years, 100,000 mile, 160,000 kilometers. You don't really have to do much maintenance inside of electrics either. So if you have a tendency to not take care of your rides, an electric could be for you. Similar to last year, you're going to find the Mach-E available either rear-wheel drive or all-wheel drive. All-wheel drive, hands down, is the way to go if you live in northern states or in Canada like me, because we get snow a couple months out of the year, and rear-wheel drive with wintertime is that absolute nightmare. So all-wheel drive, your range takes a little bit of a hit, but overall handling is definitely there, and the handling that you get inside of the Mach-E GT is incredible. And the reason why is that this has the MagneRide damping system. This car is going to hug the ground and treat you incredibly well. Looking at the wheels inside of the Mach-E, the Select gets an upgrade for the 2024 model. You've got either 19-inch going up to 20-inch depending on the trim. The Mach-E GT is going to have a 20-inch wheel. And I mentioned this one has the Bronze Appearance package. So it's got this beautiful split spoke wheel with a black pony in the very middle, but the overall design is incredible. You're going to find Brembo brakes inside of the Mach-E GT, which you'll absolutely need in order to help you control the power you're going to find inside of this ride. As always, charging for the Mach-E is done just along the driver's side. The door has a little pony on it with a little horsepower badge, and the Mach-E does have support for level 1, level 2, and then level 3 DC supercharging. You're also going to find the option for a charge cable right from the factory. 20 foot, and it also has support for level 1 and for level 2. You're also going to find it IP67 rated, which means it's okay to get a little bit wet. You can't submerge it, but still that's pretty useful. Charge times for the Mach-E are going to be all over the place. Are you level 1 charging, level 2, or level 3 DC supercharging? Do you have the 72 kilowatt hour battery or the 91? At home, I don't have a charge station, so I only go through a regular wall plug. Going from 0 to 100% charging, you're going to be 70-ish hours, depending on your overall power draw. I was at a car meet a couple days ago, and when I got home, I was at about 78% charge and got home at around 8 o'clock, plugged in by 12 o'clock the next morning or early afternoon, whatever you want to say. I was close to about 98% charge, which is pretty solid. So do you need a level 2 charger is going to depend on how much mileage you're putting on. If you're only driving 30, 40 kilometers or 20 miles a day, you could probably just get away with a regular level 1 wall plug. But if you're traveling 100 plus kilometers or 80 miles a day, could definitely be worth the investment for level 2 to ensure you've got a regular charge available. The overall range you'll find in the Mach-E is going to vary. Inside of the 72 kilowatt hour, you're going to max out at 250 miles or 402 kilometers. When you go for the rear-wheel drive version of the 91 kilowatt, that's going to be 320 miles or 515 kilometers. The GT version of the Mach-E is going to have 280 miles or 451 kilometers, which is pretty solid. And that's pretty much bang on the numbers that I've been getting testing this car out for the past week. The bronze appearance package is subtle inside of the rear end of the Mach-E. You've got the GT badge along the very back, and there's a nice bronze highlight that traces all the way throughout. There are glossy black highlights everywhere as well, so glossy black to the bumper, inside of the tail lamps as well, and the tail lamps do feature turn signals that are sequential. It looks so good at night. There is some standard tech you're going to find across the board though, regardless of the trim level of the Mach-E. So you'll always have the reverse park sensing system. There's the backup camera along with the rear wiper. Getting into the trunk of the Mach-E can be done a few different ways. There's the button on the key fob that you can utilize in order to make it happen. And then if you trace just underneath the backup camera, so right above the license plate, there's a little button there that you can push in order to raise up that lift gate. You can see there's also a little cargo protector, little mesh, so you could pull that off and if you want to, but it is useful to block off anything that you might have in the trunk. Nothing off to the left. Off to the right, there's a 12-volt power point, and then there's also a little light in the back. And since this is the one with the upgraded audio system, there's a little woofer in the back as well. This one has the thermoplastic rubber tray that you're going to find available from the factory. And lifting this tray up, you're going to find the little inflator kit. Now, there's no spare tire you're going to find inside of the Mach-E. You could do something aftermarket if you really wanted to, but one of the nice things about being a Ford owner is that you have access to roadside assistance. So similar to all other Ford vehicles, 5 years of coverage, 60,000 miles, 100,000 kilometers. So if you need a tire change, if you've locked yourself out of your vehicle, if you need a battery boost because this thing's died, you do have that available as an option. And there's the charge cable, which 20 foot from the factory is useful. I like that it's got support for level 1 and for level 2. You just pull out the little top there, select whichever one you want, insert, and you're set to go. So incredibly useful. And folding down the second row seats, you can do it from the trunk if you can reach. If you don't need to get back here, it's easy enough to do it through the second row. But through the trunk, all you're going to do, button push and push down. And it does give you a fairly flat fold there. And the cargo measurements that you're looking at, specifically behind the first row seats, are from right where the liftgate would close to just in behind that little console armrest between the first row seats. The second row seats are also locked into place, so you can't slide those backwards or forward at all, but still, there's a solid amount of space inside of this ride. There were a few changes for the Mustang that were introduced for the 2024 model. So some big ones. The California Route 1 trim is no longer available inside of the Mach-E. I know some people are going to be mad about that one, but there is the new rally version of the vehicle, so more for off-road performance instead. On top of that, there's some color changes. The base battery is 72 kilowatt hour instead of 70, and that's really about it. Some small changes to the Mach-E wheel lineup, and the performance pack being a little upgrade instead of its own unique trim level. But other than that, it's pretty much the same vehicle year over year, with some cool changes to the infotainment system. The side view mirrors inside of the Mach-E are power folding, so if we look along the door, number pads there, so you can push the bottom two to lock the door, push there to unlock. But power folding with turn signals, and then there's the side mounted camera there. Hopping inside, you can button push in order to open the door up. Love that GT interior. There's driver's seat memory available inside of the vehicle, and then the highlights here are going to be standard across the lineup. So side view mirror control, window control with your door handle. Got a nice speaker along the door there with a little bit of storage. A little scuff plate that unfortunately does not light up. These are the thermoplastic rubber trays you're going to find from the factory. Honestly, if your vehicle's year-round, it's so much easier cleaning these things down than the regular carpeted mat. So you can get them from the factory or aftermarket. On the inside, turn on your heated windshield defroster. Figure out what's going on with your lamps. I typically always recommend just staying in the auto mode. Then increase or decrease the brightness of the cluster. Traction control on or off. Might just be able to make it out there. That's turned off, but there's some ambient light inside the vehicle. It looks sharp at night. The GT seats inside of the Mach-E are incredibly comfortable. You're going to get ActiveX seating material regardless of the trim that you're in. So whether that's the Select, Premium, or the GT or the Rally, there's a little suede insert there. They're power adjustable, like I mentioned, with memory. Let's start up here. Look at this. Absolutely love it. The steering wheel inside of the Mach-E is great. One thing that would be kind of cool in the GT is if it was a flat bottom like what you'd find in the regular Mustang, just to kind of denote that this is more of a performance vehicle. But you've got basics like adaptive cruise control and other buttons. But if you want to walk through on the systems, you'll find it down in the description. So that's walk through on the steering wheel cluster, the infotainment system as well. The vehicle does have Ford's BlueCruise system. That's fully hands-free driving. So the vehicle can control everything as you go. It's really cool. That same speaker material that we saw along the door follows through in the dash there on the driver's side, passenger side. And then the infotainment system. So it still is Sync 4. It's the exact same screen as what you saw in the 2023 model with a few really cool changes. So you've got a few neat things. So Android Auto, Apple CarPlay are still there that are wireless, but you've also got the option for Amazon Alexa built in now as well, and full YouTube support. Finally, so you can watch videos right through the infotainment system now as long as you're parked. So I think that that is a really cool thing that Ford's added into the vehicle this year is full video playback support. Absolutely love it. But like I said, if you want a full walkthrough on the infotainment system, you'll find it down below. You do have, as always, support for USB audio. So there's the usual, so things like AM, FM, Sirius XM for your media. If your phone was hooked up with Bluetooth, you could use that. And then you can pump it through either the 6-speaker system in the lower trims, and then there's the upgraded 10-speaker Bang & Olufsen sound system instead. The audio inside of the vehicle is so good. Hold on. Actually, let's go back here. Let's just choose one from here. Furley's little Beethoven. So the audio inside of this ride, I think, is really, really good, especially when you get into the 10-speaker system.
I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time.
The audio is just pumping through that speaker system. And that audio is just coming right out of the microphone here. So there's no post-processing done on that audio playback section afterwards. So really solid audio across the board. And the seat in the GT is so damn comfortable too. And with the seat down, oh, it's already down as far as it's going to go. All right, so with the seat down as far as it'll go here, up overhead, 3.5, well, maybe more than that. Let's go 4.5 inches of headspace there. So I'm 6 feet tall, so 6'4", 6'5", you'll probably be okay inside of this ride. But the seat comfort inside of the GT, the seat itself just like envelops the driver passenger. It is a very comfortable seat. It does have heated seats, I should say. So seat memory, heated seats. The one thing it doesn't have that I would like to see though are ventilated seats. No trim level of the Mach-E has ventilated first row seats. Unfortunately, there is a heated steering wheel. All of your climate controls are baked in, but you can also control your climate using your voice instead. Pointed out there are a few USB power points. There's a wireless charge pad. Down low, you'll also be able to see tiny little bit of storage too. There are a few cup holders there. It's kind of nice. From there, no longer have park assist. So that went away a couple of years ago and Ford just hasn't brought it back yet. There's an electronic parking brake, a rotary dial shifter to figure out your gear. One benefit of this rotary dial is that if you're outside of park, so any other gear, and you go to turn the vehicle off, the vehicle is automatically going to put you into park. There is a full 360 camera here too. So you've got your full 360 view. You can zoom in to any side if you'd like to. You can do a close-up view as well, so like a fisheye, back to that 360 look. Would be kind of cool if the 360 was stretched a little bit more across the screen though, but still, pretty solid. You've got a little GT highlight along the armrest, and then a little slidable tray with a 12-volt power point down the middle there as well. Glove box, non-lockable with a good amount of space. Up overhead, there's an auto-dimming rear view mirror, and you can't turn that functionality off. And there you've got some overhead lighting, a sunglasses holder, and then a full fixed glass panoramic roof as an option. So it's not standard inside of the Mach-E. It is going to be an option, but still, it's nice. It would be good if it popped open, but having that fixed glass in place just opens things up. And then if you're concerned about sun beating down on you, which can happen, you can always just tint this out a little bit more if you wanted to. From there, you've got a little ticket receipt holder on the outside and on the inside. You'll probably need it, especially because of how damn powerful this car is. There, a garage door opener, so if you've got one at home, you can program it in. Visor, vanity mirror with the lights built in there as well. And this stretches out in order to block all of the sun that could be hitting your face. There's a little holy crap handle on both the passenger and the driver's side. Passengers are definitely going to need it. So hold on, let's just return this back. Perfect, adjust the seat a bit. But yeah, like I said, the overall quality of the interior here is amazing. Would be nice to have a head-up display, would be nice to have ventilated first row seats, but those are probably the only two things that I don't like about the Mach-E, is that it doesn't have those two features. Second row, button press there to get inside. So the same highlights along the passenger side door here, the second row. The seats have this really neat highlight to it, which is solid. So I've got the driver's seat set up for myself being 6 feet tall. And inside of the second row, I've got a good amount of knee space, foot space, and up overhead with me sitting fully upright, I've got maybe 2.5 inches of headspace. But this is the one with the fixed glass roof, so you'd have a little bit more space back here if you didn't have it. But still, I can fit back here, which is important. There are anchor points there, tether points behind the seats, some cup holders built right into the seats as well. Assist handle on the passenger sides, both doors there with a handle and a light as well. So handle, hook, and light. There are no pockets behind these seats inside of the GT. Down low, you've got some basic vent controls and then USB power points as well. So it's strictly dual zone climate. So this is going to be blowing whatever the driver's side's set to. And you can see there the thermoplastic rubber trays right from the factory as well. The floor is flat inside of the Mach-E. So, I mean, really, I don't have an issue sitting there. Headspace is actually pretty good. So I can sit upright, an inch and a half-ish of headspace there. The middle seat, while it's not the most comfortable, it's also not the least comfortable middle seat I've been in inside of a second row of a car. It's not bad. If I was stuck doing distance trips here, I'd be okay with it. I just really wouldn't want to do it if I could avoid it. Well, let's do some little en route handling here. Okay. And it handles so well because of the MagneRide damping system that you're going to find. Oh, it's so good. The MagneRide damping system is something that I recommend to regular Mustang owners if they're going to track their ride. With it being inside of the Mach-E GT, it just leads to better handling overall. It's incredible. Full hands-free driving now, courtesy of Ford's BlueCruise system. So hands-free driving on interstates, highways, whatever the case may be, throughout North America. And it's such a cool feature. Like, the car will control the gas and the brake for you automatically. It's going to take you around bends and things like that. I absolutely love the system. The cabin inside of the Mach-E is fairly quiet. Hear a little bit of road noise, but it's not bad. And the driver's seat is incredibly comfortable. It's funny because when I first jumped into the Mach-E, I was kind of like leaning forward a little bit, but then I started really utilizing the drive modes. So pushing yourself back into the seat, it's such a nice seat. It just like hugs the body so well. It's incredibly comfortable. It's going over bumps like this. Oh yeah. Ooh. Going over bumps like that makes me wonder what the rally version of the Mach-E would be like instead. Oh. As I mentioned, you're going to find the Mach-E available either rear-wheel drive or all-wheel drive. And since this is the GT Performance Edition, that MagneRide system, ooh, damn. Could only imagine taking this on a track, how it would feel. And the overall turning radius here, let's see. Solid. Solid. And the best part, getting back up to speed. I absolutely love it. Oh, that's great. So, do you look at the Mach-E GT as your next ride? It's going to depend on you, because like I said, it's slight overkill, but so damn fun at the same time. If you're looking for something that's got killer performance, that's all-wheel drive standard and is going to give you a huge smile every time you drive it, the GT's got you covered. But it is a pricier version of the Mach-E. So even looking at the Select or the Premium, they're both great trim levels, just not as much performance in comparison to the GT and the new Rally Edition. But you can find all of the tech walkthrough videos and then this build links off to Ford Canada and US, all in the description. But if you found this video useful, give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't yet, and until I see you next time, take care. Looking at the wheels inside of the Mach-E, you're at least going to be a 19-inch, going up to, if you go for a home charging station with, let's say, 6 kilowatt hour draw, for the smaller, so if you ever pop a tire or maybe you've locked yourself out, you need, so, son of a bitch.